I just want to welcome everybody for coming and thanks for being here. As I'm sure all of you know, I'm Joe's older brother Mark. Growing up, we had a relationship probably similar to a lot of brothers. We shared a room, got in fights, played tractors, built forts out in the woods, etc. Normal stuff you might hear about at a wedding reception. But I want to skip over all that nonsense and fast forward to when I was in college. When I was in college, I would go away for the semester and then return for the summer and winter breaks. They say that when you leave, nothing stays the same, and for me it was no different. One return in particular stands out the most, though. I drove home for Thanksgiving, and when it was time to eat, my mom called for us all into the dining room. At that moment, a middle-aged man emerged from Joe's room and sat down next to me at the dinner table. He was balding and sported a thick, masculine mustache. He wore jeans, boots, and a pearl snap shirt buttoned all the way up to his navel, exposing chest hair that would make even Chuck Norris jealous. If my level of uneasiness wasn't already high enough around this man, he displayed a knife on his belt, seemingly just to taunt me. I was used to coming home and picking on my little brother, and I was worried if I step out of line, I might get stabbed. Then after college, I spent several stints of time working regularly on the farm. Joe was always smarter and, quite frankly, a little more responsible than I was, so he would do jobs that took more skill and know-how and better judgment, and I'd be assigned tasks that I really couldn't screw up. One morning, Joe was going out to drill beans, and he asked if I would mind making him a lunch while he went and fueled the tractor and loaded the drill. I said that was no problem, and then a couple of minutes later, my buddy Chris O called, which, on a side note, I'm really glad I've been with Chris Owen for 10 years. He's kind of a legend around these parts, and one of Joe's personal favorite people. But anyway, he asked what I was doing, and I said, oh, I'm just at the house making some sandwiches for Joe. And he said, are you kidding? That's what they have you doing there? And I was like, well, he's going to be in the field all day. He's going to need something to eat. Now, Chris is a teacher, and he went on to educate me about how in ancient civilizations, they would have the stronger men go out do the hunting and gathering, and the weaker man would be left behind to do chores around the home. He said that my dad and Joe were like the stronger men, and they viewed me to be weaker and inferior, so they left me behind to pack lunches. I didn't really care for his history lesson, but looking at Joe, it was tough to convince myself that that's not what was really going on. I first heard about Ashley about 3 years ago after Joe had brought her home to meet my parents. I was actually living out of state at the time, but I just assumed that Joe had found some prosperity on the homestead and had sent for a suitable companion by mail from back east. A few weeks later, I was in town, so we were all going to go out to dinner together. And I had learned about this type of arrangement in school, so I felt like I had a pretty good idea of what to expect. Then when I showed up, I thought, wow, she looks so normal. And then about halfway through dinner, I was thinking, this girl's awesome. She's a lot like Joe, yet she was still able to progress her fashion and music sense into the 21st century. What a great combination. Ever since then, they seemed perfect together. And then this summer, Joe and I were bailing hay together. He asked me if I wanted to go to the Lincoln County Fair with him later that evening. I said sure, and so when we were finished, we went in the house to clean up. When I was ready to leave, I came upstairs, and then I saw a sight that, unfortunately, I would take with me in my grave. Joe's mustache was gone. And I said, Joe, what the hell happened to your mustache? And he was just like, you know, Ashley wanted me to shave it off and engage with pictures of the wedding. Right then and there, I felt like I didn't even know who he was anymore. I was ready to advise him to call off the wedding, but looking back on it now, I'm glad that I didn't. You see, I think my problem was, I don't think I ever realized what true love was until that point. That would be the equivalent to Tom Brady cutting off his right arm for Giselle. Joe's mustache was an all-time classic. And as I lay in bed last night thinking about what I would say today, I found myself trying to put it in a historical context. I asked myself, what were the greatest mustaches of all time? And after reflecting on this for most of the night, this is what I came up with. All right, coming in at number 5, the head coach of the most dominant team in NFL history, who once fought his defensive coordinator at halftime of the game, Mike Ditka. Coming in at number 4, the legendary truck driver who successfully orchestrated the bootlegging of 400 cases of Coors from Texarkana, Texas, to the Southern Classic in Georgia, Bo Dereville. Coming in at number 3, he was unharmed after being run over by a truck while trying to wrangle with a drunk doing donuts in his field, the groom, Joe Campaign Coming in at number 2, one of Joe's biggest role models in life, who said that the whole point of this country is if you want to eat garbage, balloon up to 600 pounds, and die of a heart attack at 43, you can. You are free to do so, Ron Swanson. And coming in at number 1, God rest his soul, the 7-time champion. Number 3, the Intimidator, Dale Earnhardt. Well, I guess since I'm getting a clap, I probably need to get this wrapped up. But I do want to say that over the past 7 years or so, I've spent time in various parts of the country. I've met all sorts of different people and maintained friendships from just about coast to coast. And whenever I tell people about where I'm from, I'm always so proud to tell them about my brother Joe. They're always astonished to hear the stories, and it's like they don't even know whether he's a real person or just some sort of folk hero. People living in New York or Miami don't realize that a real plow jockey like him still exists. Joe's a throwback. He has the values and mentality of days gone by, and he's always remained true to who he is and how he was raised. I look up to him in so many ways and couldn't be more honored than to be up here as his best man. And now I'm so glad that he's found Ashley. To be honest with you, Ashley is everything I thought he'd never find. She's beautiful, fun, and smart. There was actually a rumor going around once that Joe had said she was even smarter than he was, but I've personally never witnessed him be that humble before. But even beyond all that, she has all the same principles and outlook on life as he has. Right from the start, she felt like part of the family, whether she was over for dinner, babysitting Sam, or wrestling a steer to the dirt on the farm. She fit in well as a campaign friend. So let me just conclude by saying congratulations. From the bottom of my heart, it is my pleasure to welcome Ashley to the family. I'm so excited to watch the two of you keep so many of our family's traditions alive, and I'm equally excited to no longer have to sleep with one eye open. To Joe and Ashley.